Well guys, the wind blew down my tent finally. Yesterday it was super rainy and we got the strongest gust of wind we've had in a few months, and that gust of wind finally blew it down, but it did not take it. As I had 12 bricks anchoring it down, I was pretty confident the tent was not going to be taken by the wind, but it appears what did happen was it broke these plastic corners right here, and I don't see too many damaged bars, or if any at all. I think there is one damaged bar over here, which is this one. This is the only one that bent. Everything else is still pretty good, so I think it's actually fixable. So to repair this, I'm going to start off by cutting the broken pieces off of the bars. Alright, next I have this Forstner bit that's almost the perfect size for these rods. We need it to be hair larger or the same size as the diameter of the rod here. So we're going to drill out the hole in here and kind of use it as a cuff that's going to go over the broken rods and see how well it works. What do you know, it goes in there just fine. Now what we want to do is I'm going to mark how far it goes in. About right there. I'm going to mark it about right there. Okay, and then we're going to measure the other side as well so we know where to cut. So I'm actually going to go a little bit farther, say about right there, and cut that. Now we repeat the process. Clamp it down and drill it out. Once we have that all drilled out, I take it over to the bench sander to round off and smooth out the corners. And look how good that came out right there. That looks good. Next, we're going to take some of this double-sided sticky tape, and the idea is to try to wrap around the bar here, and we're going to stick it in the wood and hopefully it doesn't come out. And it looks like it works. So out with the old and in with the new wooden piece. Once we have it positioned in place, I fix the tent and we can start making our second piece. Alright, so I have this square wooden block here that we're going to drill out from the top and the sides to simulate our corner piece. This is the plastic piece that we're going to be replacing with the wooden one. Here we have a 1 3/8 of an inch Forstner bit that's about the same size as this bottom hole here. And I also have a 1 inch Forstner bit for the sides. Let's begin with the big one. Now this thing can be quite the wrist snapper if you're not careful, so you want to hold the bottom just like that. Sometimes these things can be quite challenging to drill through, especially when you're using cheap Ryobi Forstner bits like I am, but they do get the job done. And right here I kind of get the bit stuck a little bit, but it's alright. And we are finally here at the final hole, and it breaks on me. That's right. We have to start all over again, so I get this longer block right here and I drill all the holes from scratch. This time I try something a little bit different. I take our 4x4 block over to the miter saw and we cut off the corner, and this is how it looks. And here you'll see the purpose for the corner is so that we can have a flat surface to drill with our Forstner bit. And as usual, this does take quite some time, but I end up getting the hole. We cut the block down to width, and I clamp it down again to finish off our final hole once again. There is actual sap squeezing out right there. And this smells really good too as I'm cutting it out. Once the block is finally complete, I cut the sides off the block to take it down a couple sizes so that when we wrap the tent around it, it's not wrapped so tight around this corner and we have a snug fit. I now take it over to the bench sander so that we can round off these corners and make them nice and smooth to wrap the tent around. And this is how it's looking. Check that out, son. That looks good. Alright, so we rounded off the back corners so that when the tent wraps around this corner, these sharp corners don't tear into the tent. And I think that's going to work just fine. So I wrapped the ends of these with this flex tape. That's what this stuff is, just because it's what I had on hand. You know, you could probably wrap it with duct tape or whatever you have, because the Forstner bits were a little big and we need a snug fit, and that does the trick. Push that right in there. Same with this side, and voila, we have a good fit. And lastly, I can finally put the rest of the tent together and fix it all up like brand new, like brand spanking new. Well, out with the old and in with the new. Highly doubt this joint is going to break again. I think we fixed it for good, as well as this one. This is now a pretty strong joint. If anything else does break with the wind again, we can always repair it and repair it stronger than it was before. And I think that's going to be it for now. And there we have it, guys. Our tent shop is back up and running. Just for a little added extra support, I'm gonna add a 2x4 buried to China to add a little bit of stabilization to the tent for now, at least until I have the money to build a brand new shop. For those of you that don't know, this tent is very temporary. Yes, I know it's not going to hold up in the weather forever. It's bound to blow down eventually, but it's held up for the past 2 months and we had a wind almost every single day. So it is far exceeding my expectations, and hopefully by the end of the summer I'll have the funds to build a structure that I can work in. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and comment, rate, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and have an awesome day.